All right, today I'm going to very quickly go through some notes over volume. Okay, these can go just right behind your notes for surface area. So the first thing, volume is how much something will hold, how much space something takes up, and it is always in units cubed. Those are just three things you need to know before we get into volume, kind of what it is and how you will write it. The first example is a rectangular prism. So if you look on your formula chart, the formula for the volume of a prism, any prism, is big BH. V equals big BH, where big B is the area of the base. Okay, very important. So our base, of course, is a rectangle. Does not matter which rectangle we use, but the base is a rectangle. So the area of a rectangle we find by doing BH. Now notice, this part right here of the formula deals with just the base. That is a single side of this rectangular prism. So for just the ease of showing, I'm going to use this rectangle right here for our base. So the length of the base of our base, okay, the length of the base is going to be this 2 down here. The length of the height of the base is going to be this 1, because this is our base, the base is 2, the height is 1. It does not matter which one you really call which, but we're going to go 2 and 1, and then the height, this height, anything in this original problem right here goes with the prism, so this is the height of the prism, is going to be 7. 2 times 1 times 7 is 14 cubic feet. Okay, second example is another rectangular prism, just kind of a different view of it. Of course, it's the same formula because it's the same shape. Okay. The formula that is on this is the formula that is on your formula chart here. However, this length times width times height is the formula that you're more likely going to see. It's more common, just kind of in everyday life. So that's the formula that you need to be familiar with. This is the one that's given to you on your formula chart. So the main difference is that this one has 2 h's, but both these h's are not the same number, which kind of gets confusing when you start putting it with algebra. So people become more common to this one right here because they're all different numbers, of course. So just be aware of both of them. This is probably the more user-friendly of the two. So anyways, does not matter what order you multiply, does not matter which one you call the length, width, height, base, height, nothing. On a rectangular prism, you're going to multiply all 3 of your dimensions together, 2 times 3 times 5, and that's going to give you your answer. 2 times 3 is 6, times 5 is 30. Okay, now we're going to move on to this little tent looking thing here. Okay, of course, this is a triangular prism. It's a triangular prism, so it's still going to use the same formula for a prism. However, what changes is the shape of our base. And since the shape of our base changes, the formula for finding that area changes also. Since this is a triangular prism, the formula for finding our area is going to be the area of a triangle, which is either 1/2 base times height or base times height divided by 2. So remember, this only deals with the triangle or with the base. So right there, you're looking at the base of our triangle is 5. The height of our triangle is 4. Okay, you always want to locate that right angle, and the 2 lines that make up your right angle are the ones that are going to be your base and your height. Doesn't matter what angle they're at. They can be coming in from the side, wherever. The 2 lines making up your right angle are always going to be your base and your height. And then the height of your prism, of course, is going to be this 3. It's how far apart those triangles are. 5 times 4 is 20, divided by 2 is 10, times 3 is 30 centimeters cubed. Okay, moving on, we're going to do this one right here. Go ahead and pause this video and see if you can figure this one out yourself. It is just like the one up above it. If anything, it's even a little bit easier because you don't have to go searching for that height. So base times height again. We know it's a triangular prism, so it's going to be base times height divided by 2 for the area of our base, times our height of our prism. Remember, those heights are not the same number. So you got 2 times 3 for our triangle divided by 2. times the height, or how the distance between your bases, which is 4, comes out to 12 cubic feet. Okay, now we're going to move on and look at some cylinders here. Okay, we're going to look at some cylinders. A cylinder has a circle. It's just like a prism, except it is just a circle that is nice and really stretched out for us there. So a circle is going to, or the formula for a cylinder is going to be the exact same as a prism. The only difference is, again, our area that we're finding this time is not a triangle, not a rectangle, but it's going to be the area of a circle. Area of a circle is pi r squared. So you fill in pi r squared for b, and you're still just bringing that h down. Our radius is 2. The height is 3. So you fill in pi times your radius squared times 3. You get 37.7 meters cubed. Okay, looking at another cylinder here. The formula is, again, base times height. So the volume of the base times the height, the area of the base, is going to be pi r squared again times h. But on this time, they tried to trick you. They gave you a diameter right here. Our formula calls for a radius. So you got to make sure you take that diameter and cut it in half. Cut it in half to get your radius. So that'd be 3.14 times 3 squared times 5, which comes out to 141.3 centimeters cubed. Okay, now we're going to move on a little bit different. We're going to go to a pyramid. It's a little bit difficult to see. These are kind of hard to draw, but it is a rectangular pyramid. Pyramids are always named by their base down here. This would be a rectangular pyramid. And on your formula chart, this formula is a little bit different. It's V equals 1/3 the area of the base times the height. V equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. Now the area of our base formula is going to be a rectangle. So you could do a length, 1/3 of length times width times height, or you could do 1/3 base times height. Either one's the same. And that base and height are going to be this 3 and 2. The height of your pyramid is the 4. So 3 times 2 is 6 times 4 is 24. 1/3 of 24 is 8. Remember, multiplying by 1/3 is the same thing as dividing by 3. Now, let's look at just a couple more examples together here. I can find my pen. These examples are going to be, okay, these examples are going to be over cones, and we're going to do one more over a different type of pyramid, and then look at a cone to kind of round it out so that you have one of each shape. So we're going to look at, first is going to be a triangular pyramid. So just draw your triangle, little triangle in the back. There you go. That is a triangular pyramid. Okay, and I'm going to tell you that the height of it is 3 centimeters. Okay, this side right here is going to be 4 centimeters. And the height of the triangle, so from that corner to this corner, or we could go from top to bottom here, this one's just a little bit easier to see, is going to be 2 centimeters. Okay, now if we look, the volume, it's still a pyramid, so it's going to be 1/3 base times height, but this time our base is a triangle, so it's going to be base times height divided by 2. So that's 1/3 of base times height of our triangle. This base down here is going to be 4 times 2 divided by 2 times the height of our triangle is 3. So V equals 4 times 2 is 8 divided by 2 is 4 times 3. So that's 1/3 of 12. And 12 divided by 3 is, of course, 4 centimeters cubed. Okay, I'm going to squeeze one more example on here. This one's going to be a cone. It's going to be example 9. Cone, value an oval, and then a little triangle coming off of it there. The height of our cone is going to be 4 feet. The radius across here is going to be 2 feet. That's going to be the radius. So with a cone, it's the same formula. V equals 1/3 big BH. Now the reason it's 1/3 is because 3 cones would fit in a cylinder of that same size. So it's 1/3. Now our base on a cone is a circle, so that's going to be pi r squared times the height. So then we just start filling stuff in. 1/3, 3.14 times our radius, which is 2 squared, times our height of 4. And once you fill all that in, you get V equals 1/3 of 50.27. And you get a final answer of 16.76 feet cubed once you go through and divide it. All right, that's all I've got. I will post a worksheet for you to do over this tomorrow. So just make sure that you're on the lookout for that. Get these notes in your journal, and you guys have a great rest of your week.